In the 1990s, as the digital revolution swept across the globe, India found itself at the forefront of a technological renaissance. The country's burgeoning IT sector attracted international attention and investment, transforming cities like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Mumbai into global tech hubs. However, beneath the veneer of progress and innovation, a darker undercurrent began to take hold. As call centers and outsourcing firms proliferated, so too did the opportunities for those seeking to exploit the system. Tech-savvy individuals, armed with the skills of social engineering and the anonymity of the internet, saw a chance to make a fortune at the expense of unsuspecting victims worldwide. But how did this industry of deceit take root, and what fueled its explosive growth? Picture a young man, fresh out of college, struggling to find a foothold in India's competitive job market. Desperate for income, he finds himself drawn into the world of call centers, where the promise of easy money and flexible hours proves irresistible. He learns the art of manipulation, how to gain trust and extract sensitive information from trusting callers. As he hones his skills, he catches the eye of those higher up the chain, those who see the potential for something more. In the early days, these scams were rudimentary, relying on email phishing and basic social engineering. But as the industry grew, so too did the sophistication of their methods. Scammers began to specialize, some focusing on tech support fraud, others on IRS impersonation or online payday loan scams. They developed scripts, training programs, and even complex technological infrastructures to support their illicit activities. As the industry expanded, it began to take on the guise of legitimacy. Scam call centers masqueraded as genuine outsourcing firms, complete with corporate offices and professional facades. Behind closed doors, however, teams of scammers worked tirelessly, preying on the vulnerable and the gullible across the globe. The promise of quick riches attracted more and more young people into the fold, many of whom saw it as their only escape from poverty and unemployment. But what of the victims? Across the world, lives were being shattered by these insidious scams. Elderly individuals, tricked into believing their grandchildren were in peril, handed over their life savings. Small business owners, convinced their computers were infected with malware, granted remote access to their systems. The emotional and financial toll was staggering, yet for years, the scammers operated with impunity. As the scale of the problem became apparent, law enforcement agencies worldwide began to take notice. However, they found themselves outpaced by the scammers' ability to evolve and adapt. Weak cyber laws and jurisdictional challenges hampered efforts to crack down on these operations, while the anonymity of the internet provided a veil of protection for the perpetrators. It seemed for a time that the scammers were always one step ahead, but their reign was not to last indefinitely. Gradually, through the efforts of dedicated investigators, journalists, and whistleblowers, the inner workings of these scam call centers began to be exposed. Undercover operations and high-profile arrests started to chip away at the sense of invulnerability these criminals had long enjoyed. In 2017, Indian police raided a massive call center in Mumbai, where over 700 people were arrested for running IRS scams. These scammers had been posing as US tax officials and threatening people with arrest unless they paid bogus fines. It's estimated they stole over $300 million from victims. In 2024, a scam center in Noida, India, was shut down after posing as a legitimate tech support service. They preyed on elderly victims, charging them hundreds of dollars for non-existent services. At the same time, increased public awareness and education helped individuals recognize and resist their tactics. Increased public awareness and education have played a crucial role in helping individuals identify and resist common scam tactics. As high-profile cases of fraud and cybercrime began to surface, governments and private organizations launched widespread campaigns to educate the public. Tech companies like Microsoft and Google rolled out alerts and pop-ups warning users about unsolicited tech support calls or phishing emails. Additionally, anti-fraud campaigns have spread across social media platforms and news outlets, warning people about the dangers of giving remote access to strangers or paying for unnecessary services. In the US, agencies like the Federal Trade Commission frequently publish updates on the latest scam tactics and provide guidance on how to report suspicious activity. Public awareness initiatives like these include training programs, hotlines, and interactive websites where people can learn about ongoing scams. In India, where many of the call centers were based, there have been efforts to educate young workers who may unknowingly get involved in scam operations. Training and awareness programs highlight the risks of engaging in these illegal activities and the potential consequences, both for the perpetrators and the victims. These have helped many people recognize red flags, such as unsolicited tech support calls, requests for payment via gift cards, and high-pressure tactics to transfer money or provide personal information. As a result, many potential victims are now better equipped to resist these scams. Yet, even as the net tightens, the allure of easy money continues to draw in new recruits. Economic hardship, the digital divide, and the precarious nature of India's job market continue to provide a steady stream of willing participants. As technology evolves, so too do the methods of the scammers, with the emergence of deepfakes and AI-assisted fraud, presenting new frontiers for exploitation. In 2021, unknown scammers began using AI voice deepfakes to impersonate senior corporate officials or bank managers. These fraudsters would contact lower-level employees in multinational companies, convincing them to authorize large wire transfers. The sophistication of the voice deepfakes made it nearly impossible to detect in real time, adding a new level of complexity to the battle against fraud. We are left with uncomfortable questions. What does it say about our global economic system that such enterprises can flourish? How do we balance the promise of technology with its potential for abuse? And what responsibility do we bear as a society to address the root causes that drive young people into these shadowy industries? The story of India's scamming farms is a cautionary tale, one that speaks to the dark side of the digital age. It is a reminder that beneath the surface of our interconnected world, there are those who seek to exploit and manipulate for personal gain. Yet it is also a call to action, a challenge to us all to work towards a future where technology is a force for good, not a tool for deceit. Hey there, thanks for watching. I've personally always loved a great story. I've always felt that there's so much richness and lessons to be taken from all of the things that happened before us in our past. And on this channel, that's exactly what we'll be covering. All of the social, economic, and cultural contributions of all the different countries and societies that came before us on this planet. So if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, click subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.